Hey folks, it's Tommy Frugal Prepper. I'm going to talk about the 5 mechanics tools I use the most often. Because I may do another review on my 5 favorite garden tools or whatever. But right now, these are the 5 that I use the most that really save me a lot of time and help me out a lot. Now, I'm not a professional mechanic. I fix computers for a living. But I do a lot of work in the garage. I maintain my vehicles. I maintain family's vehicles, friends' vehicles, lawnmowers. So about every weekend I'm out here using tools. Not always these tools, or it just depends on what project I'm doing. But I would consider myself a heavy use DIYer. Not necessarily anywhere close to using them 8 hours a day like a mechanic who might buy something better like Snap-on. This is the Husky model H4455. It was about 80 bucks at Home Depot. I might buy an Astronomatic Nano if I had to do over, because I really like that wrench, but this has been a great impact wrench. It's got plenty of power for what I do. It won't take everything out. I've had a few like strut bolts and shock bolts and things that are really rusty and stuff that this doesn't quite get. But I think that's for any impact wrench. It's got its limits. But it's plenty of power for just about everything I do. Sometimes I might still have to get a breaker bar out and break something loose and then hit it with this. This has got the 3 forward positions and 1 reverse position. I usually use position 2 tightening at the most. Because this thing will break off bolts. And it's broken off a few and put me in bad situations where it's time to get the uh-oh tools out. But yeah, you can tell I've drug it around. I've beat it up quite a bit. It's gotten its fair share of use for about a year now. And I just really couldn't be happier with this little wrench. I'm waiting on it to die, and I'll probably get an Astro next. But this has been a good wrench. I would not hesitate to buy this if you're looking for something just to rotate your tires and do an occasional work with an impact wrench. This is a great option. You could run out to Home Depot and buy it quick. I want to say this is like 80 bucks at the time I'm making this. So it's been a good little tool. It's steel up front, plastic frame here in the middle. You know, what I was going to say, the exhaust comes out the bottom there through this little vent. But yeah, I've been happy with it. So let's talk about my favorite ratchet. Yeah, it's not a Snap-on or a Mac or anything else. It's a great big old Husky. A little tiny Husky, actually. I love this ratchet. Now, ratchets are a personal thing. Everybody has their own preference, and you know, I find that this works great. It's got a comfortable handle right here. I get a nice grip on it. I can get it into tight places because it's short. If I need to switch from 1/4 inch to 3/8, it's nice and fast. And I know a lot of guys don't like these because this, you know, you have one side or the other sticking out, and that can cause clearance issues, and it can. But most of the time, 99% of the time, it's not an issue for me. Selector switch is right there. It's a real fine tooth, real easy turning. One of the things I like, let's say you got a bolt that you're trying to get off here, right, and it keeps turning back on you because it's real loose and it's down in one of those awkward spots. I like it because you can either stick a socket on this other side or just grab this with your fingers and you can still get that to turn from over here on this side. You know, let's see if I can get that on video for you. Just like so. So I like it for that reason as well. I have a lot of hand strength, so when I have a bigger ratchet, I tend to over tighten things. And this shorter ratchet helps keep me from doing that. So that's a big deal for me too. I've taken it apart and lubed it several times. You can see there's some rusty crap that leaks out of here. You know, it's old. I've had this about 5 years now. While I don't wrench every day, I've done some motor swaps. I've done some cylinder heads on GM 3400 vans. I've done some, a lot of just common work, timing belts, that kind of stuff. Came in handy on the PT Cruiser, putting a head on it. There was a lot of tight places to get to in there where you couldn't get the longer ratchet. So I love this guy. It only comes in a kit with some sockets and stuff, and it's probably like a $25 kit. It's worth it. Their sockets aren't bad, but I got them for the ratchet. I have some extras. They made, I don't know if they still make, they make an HDX one that's orange. It's the same ratchet. I don't think it has the same warranty on it, but it works great too. I have one of those in my car kit. So, not a real expensive tool, but it works well. Alright, and my tools are all greasy because I use my tools all the time, and I don't clean them like I should when I put them away. Next one, we'll do a ratchet too. I love this ratchet. This is a Stanley Ratchet. You can get it at Walmart for $20. It's got a little locking thing right here, which that's not the world's best locking mechanism. Like Mac and some of them have that one in the back. But this works. It'll flex, and you can leave it unlocked, and it kind of stays where you put it. It's really got like 1, 2, 3 positions there, and 1, 2, 3 positions there. But it'll lock in those positions if you flip that button, and it locks tight. I mean, it has a little flex, a little movement, but I mean, it locks pretty tight. Selector on the back. It's got the push button release, so that does affect your clearance just a bit. A lot of guys don't like the push button releases. I love them. I hate switching sockets in the middle of a job and you got greasy hands. You're like, come off of there. Come on. That's the main reason I hate snap-on sockets. And you gotta be like, well, I gotta get me a pair of pliers here and see if I can get this thing off. I like to just be like, to me, having that push button release is such a time saver to change sockets. Especially when you're working on certain cars, Chryslers, that have to use 20 different sizes for one frickin' oil pan, right? That the occasional time that I might bump that and my socket comes off and I have to get my magnet tool out and retrieve it, it's such a time saver the rest of the time to have that push button that it makes it worth it to me. But yeah, it's also got the extendable handle, which I love. So it's short enough that I can, do a little speed ratcheting with it. And then when I really got to break something loose and give it the, as Erica would say, give it the beans, I can extend that sucker out and crack it loose. You can see me putting a lot of force on this ratchet, breaking loose the caliper bracket bolts on the Hyundai in my axle replacement video. Those things are on there tight. I did them last time. I don't know why I put them on there that tight, or if I hammered them on with the impact or what. But I mean, this thing was giving, it had some flex going in it, man. I was putting some pressure on it. And the head held up and didn't let go. Stanley's lifetime warranty. That's why I love Stanley tools. Husky's also lifetime warranty. Take it back to Home Depot. Stanley, you call their 800 number. Tell them what you got. They'll probably ask you for this part number that's engraved in it. And they will send you another one in the mail. It just shows up in a few days. So you could wait for the snap-on truck to come around next week, or you can wait for the package to show up in a few days. And I've only had to RMA a couple of Stanley things. I had a cracked socket once and a bad stripped out 1/4-inch drive ratchet. So now we're going back to a power tool. Oh no, it's Ryobi. That stuff's junk. You gotta get Milwaukee, man. I find that this actually works awesome for me. You can get this tool like refurbished. I bought plenty of refurbished tools. I think it's like $50 on Amazon. It's not that much more to buy new. Of course, that's without the battery. I got him this one in a kit with this drill with 2 batteries and a charger for like $100 on a Father's Day special. And I put this little 3/8 adapter in it. Works great. It drives screws and deck screws and lag bolts and stuff like that just fine too. Plenty of power. It's not going to take lug nuts off. But, 10mm socket on there, or, I'd say anything 14 and down, working on cars, it just rips them off. It's great for doing things like oil pans, stuff like that. What's nice about this one is it's fast, too. I mean, it takes them out, it hits them fast, knocks them loose, impacts them, and then it really has some speed to it. So I've really enjoyed this wrench. Now, Ryobi's batteries can be a bit of a problem. I'll put a link at the end of the video on how you get these things to charge again once they won't charge anymore. I did a video on that, and it seems to work out great. It's affordable. I like that it's got the little magnet on it here. You can put some screws. This one does not have the lights. There are some that do. I think my drill might. No, my drill does not have the lights either. They make one now, I think, that does have the lights. But when I looked, the lights were going to be kind of useless because most of them you can hit the switch a little, or you can just bump it and then they'll stay on for 30 seconds. For some reason, Ryobi hasn't caught on to that, and their lights go out as soon as you hit undo it. So you're like, have to turn a little bit, to see. So I just skipped the lights. I'll use a drop light. But they have a model that has a light on it too. So that's that tool. And my favorite screwdrivers. I have to say I like these Husky screwdrivers too. They seem to work pretty decent. But my favorite by far is Stanley Fatmax. These things have just been totally freaking awesome, man. I've used the crap out of these things, and they just keep on working. I mean, this one's actually got a little bit of a bend in it because I was prying hubs out of my mom's car with it one day because I didn't want to get up and get a bigger screwdriver. But man, I have beat the crap out of these things, and for a $30 set of screwdrivers, they work awesome. They have got these little, well, it's so full of grease you can hardly tell, but they got these little teeth in there that bite in to the screw, so they really hold on tight. Maybe you can tell a little better on this. This one's a little cleaner. They got little teeth in there, and that tip, and the tip's super hard and durable, and it also magnetic a little bit, just a little, not a ton, but yeah, it'll pick some stuff up, but it's not real super magnetic, but enough for a small screw. And the bigger one here that seems to have lost its magnetism a little bit, but the smaller one still has it. But I beat the bigger one around a lot more. But for $30, I don't think you can go wrong with a set of these screwdrivers for something to beat around and pry with and use, and they're pretty reliable for DIY use. I think they'd hold up pretty good for professional use too myself. But that's just me. I don't know. I don't turn wrenches 8 hours a day for a living. So, but that's my 5 favorite mechanics tools from a DIYer's perspective. And that's what I like. So hope you find that interesting. If you have any questions, comments, or if you think I'm silly because I have cheap crap, let me know. Other than that, I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your frugal prepper.